Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to remind you of something the world is quickly forgetting, something that is being watered down, redefined, and in many ways attacked. That something is manhood. We live in an age where men are told to be passive, to step back, to weaken their spirit in the name of ease. But I tell you today, God did not design you to be weak. He did not place you on this earth to shrink in fear, to make excuses, or to live a life without meaning. He designed you to be strong. He designed you to lead. He designed you to be a man. Strength is not given, it is forged. And the forge in which it is made is responsibility. A man is not made strong by his muscles alone, nor by his words or his ambitions, but by the weight he carries and the burdens he willingly accepts. The world today teaches men to run from responsibility, to seek comfort, to pass the burden on to someone else. But true strength does not come from escaping hardship. It comes from embracing it. A man who takes responsibility for his life, his actions, and those who depend on him is a man who will rise above the rest. Responsibility is not a punishment, it is a privilege. It is the mark of a man who understands that his life is not just about himself, but about those around him. A responsible man does not blame others for his failures. He does not point fingers at society, his upbringing, or his circumstances. Instead, he stands tall and says, "This is my life, and I will take control of it." That mindset is the foundation of real strength. When a man takes responsibility for himself, his transformation begins. He recognizes that he is not entitled to success. He must earn it. If he is unhealthy, he does not complain. He trains. He eats right. He disciplines himself. If he is struggling financially, he does not make excuses. He works harder. He learns. He finds a way. If his relationships are failing, he does not blame others. He examines himself, his faults, and seeks to become better. This is the strength that comes through responsibility, the ability to stand in front of a problem and say, "I will fix this." A man's responsibility extends beyond himself. A man who is strong takes responsibility for those who depend on him. He provides not only material support, but emotional, moral, and spiritual guidance. A father does not abandon his family. He does not leave his children to be raised by the world while he chases his own desires. Instead, he commits to being present, to leading, to setting the example. A husband does not neglect his wife. He does not look elsewhere when challenges arise. Instead, he takes ownership of his role. He nurtures, he protects, and he leads. A leader in society does not seek personal gain at the expense of others. He carries the burdens of his people, makes sacrifices, and ensures that those under his care are safe and thriving. Many men today are weak, not because they lack potential, but because they refuse to accept responsibility. They look for an easy life, free of obligations, and in doing so, they rob themselves of the very thing that would make them strong. There is no strength in avoiding work, in blaming others, or in running from duty. Strength is found in the fire of responsibility, in taking on challenges even when they seem overwhelming. When a man embraces responsibility, he becomes unshakable. He does not crumble under pressure because he has trained himself to endure. He does not fear failure because he knows that failure is part of growth. He does not seek the easy way out because he understands that the hard road is the one that builds character. Responsibility is what separates boys from men. It is the weight that builds strength, the challenge that forges resilience, and the path that leads to greatness. A man who carries responsibility with pride and conviction is a man who will stand tall while others fall. He is the one who will be remembered, the one who will lead, and the one who will lead, and the one who will truly be strong. Courage is the defining trait of a man who refuses to be controlled by fear. It is easy to choose comfort, to stay where things are familiar, where risks are low, and where failure is unlikely. But comfort does not lead to greatness. Courage does. A man who always seeks comfort will never grow, never achieve, and never become the leader he was meant to be. The world does not reward those who remain in their safe zones. It rewards those who step out in faith, who take risks, and who face the unknown with strength. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the will to move forward despite it. Every man faces fear at some point: fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of pain. The weak man allows fear to dictate his actions, making excuses to justify why he cannot take the next step. He tells himself it is too risky, too difficult, or too uncertain. But the strong man knows that courage is a choice, a habit that must be practiced daily. He does not allow fear to control his destiny. Instead, he uses it as fuel, as a challenge to overcome, as a test that will refine him. The greatest moments in history were forged by men who chose courage over comfort. The warriors who charged into battle knowing they might not return. The pioneers who stepped into the unknown with no guarantee of success. The leaders who stood against opposition when the easy choice was to remain silent. Every great man has faced a moment where he had to choose between standing up or backing down, and those who chose to stand became legends. A comfortable life is an unfulfilled life. Comfort lulls a man into mediocrity, making him soft, weak, and complacent. A man who never pushes his limits will never discover his true potential. He will never know the depth of his strength because he has never tested it. Comfort breeds laziness, and laziness leads to regret. One day, the man who chose comfort over courage will look back and wonder what could have been, what battles he could have won, what goals he could have reached, and what kind of man he could have become if only he had dared to be bold. Courage must be applied in every area of life. It takes courage to speak the truth when others remain silent. It takes courage to stand by your principles when the world pressures you to conform. It takes courage to take responsibility for your life, to embrace hardship, and to strive for greatness. It takes courage to wake up early, to train your body, to sharpen your mind, and to discipline your soul. Courage is not just about facing external challenges. It is about conquering yourself, mastering your weaknesses, and forging the strength to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. A courageous man leads, while a comfortable man follows. The man who leads is the one who takes risks, who makes the hard choices, who steps forward while others hesitate. He does not wait for the perfect moment because he knows there is no such thing. He does not rely on luck because he knows success is earned through action. He understands that fear will always be present, but he does not allow it to dictate his life. He knows that growth begins at the edge of discomfort and that the only way to become stronger is to step into the fire, to embrace the struggle, and to push through the pain. The choice is always there, courage or comfort. One leads to strength, the other to weakness. One leads to purpose, the other to regret. Every man must decide which path he will take, and the man who chooses courage will find that, in the end, he has not only conquered his fears, but has also conquered himself. Discipline is the foundation upon which greatness is built. A man's destiny is not determined by luck, talent, or circumstances. It is shaped by his ability to master himself. Discipline is the force that separates those who dream from those who achieve, those who wish from those who act, and those who start from those who finish. Without discipline, even the most talented man will fall short, while the man who trains himself relentlessly will rise above all. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like doing it. The weak man waits for motivation. The strong man acts regardless of how he feels. He understands that feelings are unreliable, that motivation fades, but discipline remains. It is easy to wake up early when you feel inspired, to train hard when you are excited, to work on your goals when everything is going well. But the real test comes on the days when you are tired, when progress is slow, when the results are not immediate. The disciplined man does not allow emotions to dictate his actions. He knows that true strength is found in consistency, in showing up every day, in pushing forward even when there is no immediate reward. Every successful man in history has been defined by discipline. The athlete who trains before the sun rises, the entrepreneur who works while others sleep, the warrior who sharpens his skills even when no battle is in sight, these are the men who shape the world. They do not wait for the right moment, they create it. They do not rely on talent alone, they develop their skills relentlessly. They do not make excuses, they make progress. They understand that discipline is the price of success, and they are willing to pay it every single day. A disciplined man is unstoppable because he is not controlled by distractions. In a world filled with temptations, quick pleasures, and endless excuses, he stands firm. He does not waste time on meaningless entertainment, gossip, or laziness. He guards his focus, knowing that every wasted moment is a step away from his goals. He does not allow bad habits to take root because he understands that small compromises lead to great failures. His mind is sharp, his body is strong, and his actions are intentional. He chooses the hard path, not because it is easy, but because it is right. Discipline is what transforms ordinary men into extraordinary leaders. A man who lacks discipline cannot be trusted because he is ruled by impulse. He starts things but does not finish them. He makes promises but does not keep them. He has dreams but no results. But a man of discipline is different. His word is solid, his actions are dependable, and his results speak for themselves. He does not need to boast about his plans. His work ethic proves his worth. He leads not by words but by example. There are no shortcuts to success, no easy paths to greatness. The man who seeks comfort will always be weaker than the man who seeks discipline. The road of discipline is hard, filled with struggle, sacrifice, and setbacks. But it is also the road that leads to strength, mastery, and fulfillment. A man's destiny is shaped by the habits he builds, the consistency he maintains, and the discipline he applies. No man who is ruled by laziness, distraction, or weakness will ever achieve lasting success. The man who trains himself, who sharpens his mind, who controls his actions, he is the one who will rise, the one who will lead, the one who will fulfill his destiny. Faith and purpose are the twin pillars of a man's life. Without faith, a man is lost, wandering through life with no direction. Without purpose, he is weak, lacking the fire to push forward when obstacles arise. A man who lacks faith and purpose is like a ship without a compass, drifting wherever the waves take him, never reaching any meaningful destination. But a man who has faith in something greater than himself and a purpose that fuels his soul is unstoppable. He does not merely exist, he lives with intention, conviction, and unwavering strength. Faith is what gives a man the courage to step into the unknown. It is the belief that no matter what struggles he faces, no matter how dark the path may seem, he is not alone. It is the knowledge that there is meaning beyond the momentary struggles, that the trials he endures are shaping him into the man he was created to be. Faith is not just about believing in something. It is about trusting that every challenge, every setback, and every hardship is part of a greater plan. A man with faith does not break under pressure because he knows that his life has meaning beyond the immediate pain. Purpose is what gives a man a reason to wake up every morning with fire in his soul. It is the deep understanding that his life is not meant to be wasted in mediocrity. A man without purpose drifts through life aimlessly, chasing fleeting pleasures that leave him empty. He fills his days with distractions, wasting time on things that do not matter. because he has no greater mission driving him forward. But a man with purpose is different. He has a vision for his life. He knows what he stands for, what he fights for, and what he is willing to sacrifice for. He is not easily swayed by comfort, because he understands that comfort is the enemy of progress. Faith and purpose are inseparable. Faith provides the foundation, the rock upon which a man builds his life. It gives him the courage to dream big, to take risks, and to push through failure. Purpose gives him direction, ensuring that his actions are aligned with something greater than himself. A man with faith but no purpose may believe in something greater, but without a mission, he remains stagnant. A man with purpose but no faith may chase success, but without belief in something beyond himself, he will crumble when adversity strikes. Only when faith and purpose come together does a man become truly powerful. A man of faith and purpose does not waste time seeking approval from others. He does not need validation because he knows who he is and why he exists. He does not live for applause, nor does he fear criticism. His path is clear, and he walks it boldly, knowing that his strength comes not from the opinions of others, but from the unwavering conviction within his heart. When he falls, he gets back up. When he is tested, he remains firm. When the world tells him to give up, he presses forward because he knows that his life was meant for something greater than mere survival. In the end, every man must ask himself, what do I believe in? What am I living for? Without answers to these questions, life becomes a cycle of meaningless days filled with empty pursuits that lead nowhere. But when a man finds his faith and embraces his purpose, he becomes a force of nature. He no longer moves through life with hesitation, doubt, or fear. Instead, he stands strong, ready to take on whatever challenges come his way. He does not just exist, he thrives because he knows deep in his soul that he was born for something great. A man's duty is to protect and provide, not just for himself, but for those who depend on him. This is not a burden, it is an honor. A man who embraces this duty stands as a pillar of strength, ensuring the safety, stability, and well-being of those under his care. A man who neglects it becomes a source of weakness, leaving those around him vulnerable to hardship, danger, and instability. True manhood is not measured by words or intentions, but by actions, by the ability to stand firm in times of need, to shield those who cannot shield themselves, and to ensure that those under his leadership do not lack what they need to thrive. Protection is more than physical strength. It is a mindset, a way of life. A man must be ready to defend his family, his home, and his values, not only from physical threats, but also from moral and emotional harm. He does not allow his loved ones to be exposed to influences that weaken their character or destroy their spirit. He stands as a guardian, ensuring that those he loves are safe, not just from external dangers, but from the creeping decay of weakness, laziness, and moral corruption. He teaches his children discipline, self-respect, and honor. He leads by example, showing them what it means to be strong, resilient, and wise. Providing is not just about money, it is about stability. A man provides security, guidance, and leadership. He does not live recklessly, leaving his family uncertain of where their next meal will come from. He does not indulge in selfish desires while his loved ones suffer. He works hard, not because he is obsessed with wealth, but because he understands that provision is part of his duty. A man does not wait for others to take care of him. He takes responsibility. He builds, he creates, he ensures that those who depend on him can do so without fear. To protect and provide means to put others before oneself. This is the highest form of masculinity, sacrificial leadership. A weak man avoids responsibility, makes excuses, and lets others carry his weight. A strong man embraces responsibility, carries the load, and ensures that those around him are safe and secure. He does not seek the easy way out. He chooses the hard path because he knows that strength is built through struggle and greatness is achieved through sacrifice. A true protector is not ruled by fear. He does not run when danger arises. He faces it head on. He is the first to step forward when his family is in need, the first to shield them from harm, the first to ensure that they never feel abandoned. His presence alone brings comfort because those around him know that when trouble comes, he will stand firm. His word is reliable, his actions are decisive, and his leadership is unwavering. A true provider does not just give what is easy, he gives what is necessary. He does not offer comfort at the cost of character. He does not spoil those under his care, but ensures they are equipped to face the world with strength. He does not simply hand out resources. He teaches, guides, and prepares. He provides wisdom as well as material needs, direction as well as protection, discipline as well as love. The world is full of men who seek to avoid responsibility, to chase pleasure instead of purpose, to take rather than give. But a man who protects and provides is different. He does not live for himself. He lives for something greater. He does not complain about hardship. He embraces it as part of his duty. He does not seek an easy life. He seeks a meaningful one. In doing so, he earns the respect of those around him, the trust of those who depend on him, and the fulfillment that only comes from living with strength, honor, and purpose. Integrity is the foundation of true leadership. A man who leads without integrity may have power, but he will never have respect. He may command, but he will never inspire. He may achieve success for a moment, but in the end he will lose everything, because a life built on dishonesty, manipulation, and deception will always crumble. To lead with integrity means to stand firm in truth, to be unwavering in character, and to be someone others can trust without question. It means that your words and your actions align, that your principles are not for sale, and that you do what is right even when no one is watching. A man of integrity does not take shortcuts. He does not sacrifice his morals for temporary gain. He does not lie to get ahead, cheat to win, or manipulate to control. He understands that real leadership is built on trust, and trust is built on consistency, honesty, and strength of character. When a man leads with integrity, people follow him not because they fear him, but because they believe in him. They know that his word is reliable, his actions are just, and his leadership is rooted in truth. The greatest leaders in history were not those who sought power at any cost, but those who remained true to their values even when it was difficult. A man of integrity does not compromise his principles to please the crowd. He does not change his stance depending on who is watching. He is the same person in private as he is in public. He speaks the truth even when it is unpopular. He stands firm even when the pressure to conform is overwhelming. He does not betray his beliefs for approval or success, because he understands that real success comes from staying true to who you are. A man who leads with integrity earns the respect of those around him. He does not demand it, he earns it through his actions. People trust him because they know he does not say one thing and do another. His leadership is not based on fear or manipulation, but on the power of his example. His family trusts him because they know he will not betray them. His friends respect him because they know he is a man of his word. His colleagues look up to him because they know he will do what is right, even when it is difficult. Integrity requires discipline. It is easy to be honest when honesty is convenient, but true integrity is tested when the stakes are high. When a man is faced with a choice between what is easy and what is right, integrity chooses what is right. When he has the opportunity to deceive and gain an advantage, integrity tells him to stay true. When he is tempted to compromise his values for comfort, wealth, or power, integrity reminds him that his soul is worth more than any worldly reward. A man without integrity may find temporary success, but he will eventually be exposed. Lies always catch up with those who tell them. Dishonesty always leads to downfall. A leader who lacks integrity will lose the trust of his people, and once trust is lost, it is almost impossible to regain. But a man of integrity is unbreakable. No matter how much the world tries to shake him, he stands firm. No matter how many challenges he faces, he remains true to his principles. No matter how much pressure he is under, he does not bend. Leadership is not about titles or positions. It is about character. A true leader is not the loudest, the strongest, or the most powerful. He is the one who stands with honor, courage, and truth. He does not seek shortcuts or betray his values for success. He understands that who he is as a man matters more than what he achieves. A man who leads with integrity leaves behind a legacy that lasts, because the impact of an honest, honorable life is greater than any wealth, fame, or position of power. A man's legacy is not built on words, but on actions. The world does not remember those who compromise their values for temporary gain. It honors those who stood firm in the face of adversity. To lead with integrity is to build something that lasts, something that cannot be shaken by lies, corruption, or deceit. So, I ask you today, what kind of man will you be? Will you chase success at the cost of your character, or will you choose the harder path, the path of honor, truth, and unwavering principle? Will you be the man who bends when the pressure rises, or the man who stands tall, knowing that his word is his bond and his actions define him? The choice is yours. But remember this: power fades, money comes and goes, and status is temporary. Integrity is forever. A man who leads with integrity may not always take the easiest road, but in the end, he will walk with his head high, his conscience clear, and the respect of those who matter most. That is true leadership. That is true manhood. And that is the kind of legacy worth leaving behind.